What's up, y'all? Welcome. This is Bible Takeaways. So, for y'all who don't want to hear that Bible talk, this is where you make your exit. For the rest of y'all, you are the invited. Welcome. We in James 3 now. Yeah, James is behind Hebrews and in front of Peter in the New Testament. Behind Hebrews, in front of Peter, if you're going to jump on. Alright? And we in James 3. You already did 1 2. So, we're going to do James 3, and then one other day, we're going to do James 4, and then another day, we're going to do James 5. And then it's going to be a wrap. Oh, James 4 is only... Well, we're getting ahead of ourselves. Let's go ahead and do this then. Okay, so they say right here that this Bible verse is about control of the tongue. Alright, so my brethren, be not many masters, knowing that we shall receive the greater condemnation. For in many things we offend all. If any man offend not in word, the same is a perfect man, and able also to bridle the whole body. Behold, we put bits in the horses' mouths, that they may obey us, and we turn about their whole body. Behold also the ships, which though they be so great, are driven of force. I be messing up a lot. Here we go. All right, now behold also the ships, which though they be so great, and are driven of fierce winds, yet are they turned about with a very small helm, whichsoever the governor listeth. Even so the tongue is a little member, and boasteth great things. Behold, how great a matter a little fire kindleth. And the tongue is a fire, a world of iniquity. So is the tongue among our members, that it defileth the whole body, and setteth on fire the course of nature, and is set on fire of hell. For every kind of beast, and of birds, and of serpents, and of things in the sea, is tamed, and have been tamed of mankind. But the tongue can no man tame. It is an unruly evil, full of deadly poison. Therewith bless we God, even the Father, and therewith curse we men, which are made after the similitude of God. Out of the same mouth proceeded blessings and cursings. My brethren, these things ought not so to be. Doth not a fountain send forth, and at the same place, sweet water and bitter? Can the fig tree, my brethren, bear olive berries, either a vine or fig? So we can fountain both yield salt water and fresh. Live wisely. That's what they said. So that first part was about control of the tongue. I guess this last couple is about live wisely. Who is a wise man and endued with knowledge among you? Let him shew out of a good conversation his works with meekness of wisdom. But if ye have bitter envying and strife in your hearts, glory not and lie not against the truth. The wisdom descendeth not from above, but is earthly, sensual, and devilish. For where envying and strife is, there is confusion in every evil work. But the wisdom that is from above is first pure, then peaceable, gentle, and easy to be entreated, full of mercy and good fruits, without partiality and without hypocrisy. And the fruit of righteousness is sown in peace of them that make peace. Yeah, I know I struggle with that. I've been struggling a lot reading this. I'm not used to reading it out loud though. That's what it is. So that's my excuse. Shoot, I got me an excuse. And plus, this is Old English. So all those T's and all those dials, those THs and those dials and everything else, it throw you off. When I'm reading it, and I'm not reading out loud, man, I'm the best reader in the world. I get to reading stuff out loud, and it just isn't modern. Anywho, so you know what we're about to do. Let's go back and see what's up. Alright. My brethren. You see? Let's start with that. My brethren. You know, because we talking about the people who are of the church. And for those who don't know, and those who have known but also forgot, the church is not a building, it's not a place, it's a people. After the Lord had died, and they started to begin the church after the pouring out of the Holy Ghost, they met in other people's houses. So that's what they did. And it was about getting together with people that are like-minded. And that's what family is. It's similarities. You know, so if somebody's your brother or somebody's your sister, it could be blood, or it could be a bond of truth, or it could, depending on how you live your life. Some people are brothers and sisters, and they do evil together. They be robbing folks, shooting, beating up on folks. But the point is that you have to engage in some similar actions or have a similar state of mind for you and somebody else to be brother or sister beyond blood. And that's why he keeps addressing them, saying, my brethren, also saying, my brothers. You know why? Because they share the same faith and because they share the same faith. And then they believe in it the same way. Because throughout the Bible, you'll find people who will speak against God and speak false truths. And they weren't considered as part, So it is like that. So it says, be not many masters, knowing that we shall receive the greater condemnation. So be not many masters, meaning don't worry about whatever titles, because some people in this world, they let the titles that they have get to them. Like folks, they become a pastor, they become supervisor, manager, doctor. You know what I'm saying? Name a title, and then let that get to their head. Like, listen, there's really one master above all of us. So don't be too many masters. Don't think that because you got all these titles and this respect in the world that you really are above people like that. You may be better than some people. That's another harsh reality. Some people like, oh, you think you're better than me? I might be. And for real, some people might be better than you. They might actually be a better person than you. But when it comes down to humanity, we are gonna face the same judge. So don't let that get to your head. So, for in many things we offend all. If any man offend not in a word, the same is a perfect man, and able also to bridle the whole body. Behold, we put bits in the horse's mouth. These are analogies. Yeah, so let's stop right there. That's James 3:2. It says, if any man offend not in a word, the same is a perfect man. So, if you want to know how to be perfect, watch your mouth. That's the best way, because you already know, you got to understand that these people are some of the first believers of the resurrection of Jesus Christ. So they know the Torah, they know the books and prophets. This New Testament is about what Jesus did and what he taught on the law. The New Testament isn't a whole separate new thing. It's the perfection of the law. That's what Jesus did. All right. Now, Jesus had taught. We see this. We see it in the Gospels. He said, be careful because out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. And then he goes on through a list of things, the issues of the heart, murders, jealousies, envy, and strifes, all that. And that's exactly what is going on in our heart. So everything that we say on some level comes from our heart. And how do you keep that? You don't let it go. Yeah, you don't have to. Not everything that needs to be said has to be said. All right? Now it's also to bridle the whole body. So if you keep your mouth straight, then your whole body is straight. Meaning, like, if you keep your mouth together, then your whole soul is intact. So yeah, and it says in Proverbs, I was just reading this, it said a man that keeps his words to himself, he saves his own soul or something like that. Yeah, so don't be loose with your words because it's gonna count against you. We all have to give account of things that we say. And I know that I talk a bunch of stuff. I'm drinking that Dr. Pepper to keep me up, that caffeine. All right, here we go. Oh, he just gives some analogies about how great a ship is, but you put the little sail on the ship and you get your little device to turn it, and then with the wind and with the waves, a big old thing like that is controlled by those small elements, including the man. Here we go. We're going to get into that one too. Even so, the tongue is a little member and boasts great things. Behold, how great a matter a little fire kindleth. A tongue is a fire, a world of iniquity. So is the tongue among our members, that it defileth the whole body, and setteth on fire the course of nature, and it is set on fire of hell. I think that's pretty plain. All that's saying is the same thing I already said, and he's saying the same thing. Is that even though the tongue is just a small thing throughout your body, right? That's a nasty tongue. I shouldn't show that again. But anywho, the tongue is a small member throughout the body, but it's responsible for a whole lot. This isn't judge something by its size type of thing. This is that thing may be little, but it has a lot of power type thing. Okay. Now, for every kind of beast, and of birds, and of serpents, and of things in the sea is tamed, and have been tamed of mankind. I was just gonna say because God made it such. God made it so that humans are the dominant force, the dominant species on earth. Yeah, we control everything. So before y'all get to blaming the devil, before y'all get to blaming this, you gotta understand that most of the things in this world, the problems are us people. You see, nature, it does its own damage to itself with tornadoes, hurricanes, earthquakes, all types of crazy stuff happening, floods, you know. But then that's if humans are animals, or a habitat isn't affected by a natural disaster, then you're like, okay, that's just how it is on Earth. Earth does that damage to herself, right? But then when the habitat is damaged or there's lives taken or lives in jeopardy, then it's like, oh, it's a tragedy. Other than natural disasters, every other issue, every other problem on Earth, it's us people. It's people. Animals are simple. They live, they hunt, they kill, they eat, they reproduce, and they die. Yeah. So there are no natural disasters. There are no animals killing and causing the kind of damage to people and this earth as much as people do. So it's our fault. All right. Anywho's. Okay. Say, but the tongue no man can tame. It is an unruly, meaning that it doesn't follow rules. Meaning it's hard to tame. Meaning, meaning that you can. It's not submissive. Okay. Unruly evil, full of deadly poison, lethal poison. Not something full of deadly poison, as in could really hurt or kill. And with our words, we have the power to create and destroy. There's a thing I call it the I forgot what I used to call it. I call it the window. The window is when you can say something to a person positively or negatively within a space of time or a situation that can maximize its effect on the person. So a lot of times folks be having issues with somebody else. They try to say the most craziest thing in the world, but since you are angry or people are angry, it don't hit as hard. But if somebody was just chilling, having a good day, and you just walked up to them and said something incredibly negative, they're gonna be like, dang, that might throw a person's whole day. I met a chick, right? At community college, she was cool. And I used to just talk it up and rap it with her here and there. She was a cutie too, but she was cool. She actually was smart. You'd be surprised. People are dumb. I don't really talk to stupid people. But anywho, back to what I was saying. So she was telling me about how she wanted to be a writer, and I'm like, shoot, you can still do that, especially since you're at community college and all that. And she ain't really believe. I'm like, what's up with that? Why don't you believe that you can do a writer? She said, be a writer. She said, oh, because I was doing some writing. I told my mom about it. My mom told me that I could never do a writer, and she quit based off of that. That's an example of a window. Yeah. So you gotta be careful what you say. Now, out of the same mouth proceeded blessing and cursing. My brother, these things ought not so to be. That's James 3:10. Out of the same mouth proceeds blessing and cursings. It says, therefore we bless God, even the Father, and therefore we curse men, which are made after the similitude of God. That's important to recognize because you got to understand that the same thing comes from the same thing. I know that doesn't make sense. The point is the tongue can speak blessings and curses, good and evil, life and death. What he's trying to say is that you have to get a control over this. You have to speak more life than death. You have to speak more good than evil. You know what I'm saying? That's what you want to do. And it says he blessed God with that, but also curse men, which are made in a similitude of God, which means a similar fashion. Yeah, so we want to bless God, but then turn around and curse something that he created in the image of himself. So he kind of cursing God and blessing God at the same time. And it says curse not and bless not. And those of y'all out there who has real spiritual power, y'all know about how you can speak something into existence. So it's more important for those who are aware of it to not do such. Can a fig tree, my brethren, bear olive berries? Either a vine, figs. So can no fountain both yield salt water and fresh water? So he's saying the same thing I already said. Pick one. All right. Who is a wise man? Who is a wise man and endued with knowledge among you? Let him shew out of a good conversation his works with meekness of wisdom. Meek. Meek, the word meek is kind of like humble, lowly. You know what I'm saying? Not too proud. Okay. Now, but if you have bitter envy and strife in your hearts, glory not, and lie not against the truth. Bitter envy and strife. You know, that is very real because there's people, they get into it, people, and then folks be trying to lie, I hate that person. What you hate about them? Oh, this, that. They just be jealous of other folks, you know what I'm saying? So they be trying to tell the story as if this other person's just a monster, and the truth is they just jealous of them. And then other times, folks just be too excited to get into it. People love to tell a story. Guess what happened to me today? What happened to you? Man, I was over here at Subway, man. The sandwich artist, I told him just put a little bit of lettuce on that. You know they always try to get you too much lettuce, you know what I'm saying? But I told him just to put a little bit of lettuce on there. He gonna take it and throw the whole thing. I snapped on him. I told him, like, you ain't gonna make me, you know what I'm saying? I ain't buying them, make me a new one. Blah, 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 blah. You know how people have stories like that, though? They'll tell you, like, yeah, I just snapped on this person. Oh, man, me and this person almost got into a fight. Or me and this person actually did get into a fight, and I put the things on them. You know what I'm saying? It says don't glory in that. That ain't no good. All right. Now, this wisdom descendeth not from above, but is earthly, sensual, devilish, carnal. You get what I'm saying? Now, that's the difference between. Here we go. Oh, it says it right here. But the wisdom that is from above is first pure, then peaceable, then gentle, and easy to be entreated, full of mercy and good fruits, without partiality and without hypocrisy. Boom. So the wisdom that comes from above, that godly wisdom, that holy wisdom, that divine, righteous wisdom, it gives you something that you can take with you. You know what I'm saying? It could be a harsh truth, but like, okay, homeboy, homegirl told me that I didn't really like that. But to be real, I actually needed to hear that. You know what I'm saying? But this worldly wisdom is just impressive. You just have to think like, wow, this person is really wise. This person is really smart. Yeah. But this other kind of wisdom, it feeds your spirit. It feeds your soul. It gives you something that you can remember. It becomes a reference. That's the difference between earthly wisdom and holy wisdom. All right? And the fruit of righteousness is sown in peace of them that make peace. Peace isn't really just like everything's all good, nobody's fighting. Peace is more like, okay, if something does happen, how do we calm the situation down? When war does break out, what is the best way to solve it? That's what peace is, because there'll always be some external conflict, all right? But the righteousness is sown in peace of them that make peace. So that means you have to be peaceful to get the peace of this peace. Gotta be peaceful to get a piece of this peace, just to say the least. Think I'm done with this. I'm about to go. This is a wrap for sure. Anywho, that was James. It's very simple. So the whole thing is about this is control your tongue and live wisely. They have it right here. They preach the sermons for me, because that's exactly what last Bible I had. I never had this. It says it right here. Where's it at? Here we go. James 3. Right there. James 3. Can y'all see it? Is it backwards for y'all too? Or this is backwards for me. Control the tongue. And that's exactly what it was talking about. And then that's before James 3. And then over here, it should say, you see that? Live wisely. Okay? Yeah, so they pretty much preach it for me. That's exactly what I was going to say too. But James is a very serious book. With that being said, just beware that you're capable of good and evil. You're capable of righteousness and wickedness. Capable of blessings and curses. Pick a side and choose a side. That's another problem with the generation I learned. People always want to play the in-between. I understand that you don't want to get grouped together. I don't want to be a part of nobody's cause and movement. But in this life, you do have to pick a side. You're going to have to decide what you're rolling with. You're rolling with good or evil. Pick one. You know what I'm saying? You're going to do both or either. You know what I'm saying? They already said, Paul said, the things that I shouldn't do, I do. And the things that I want to do, and the things that I shouldn't do, that's exactly what I do. But the good things that I want to do, I don't do them. It's a combative nature of man having a soul and also living in his flesh of sin. It's a combative nature. And that was just addressed in the mouth specifically. Be careful with your words. That being said, that's Bible takeaways, James 3. Outro.